Kind of have a lot of different things to highlight today, and I did post both of these in the chat, so hopefully it's like a continuous chat where you can still see it. Otherwise, I can pop the links back in there again. But so for those of you who don't know, my name is Iman Moore. I'm the current treasurer and chair of this TCU Career Consortium, essentially a community of practice space for TCU career service professionals. I've been doing this role for about two and a half years or so. So if you don't mind, we kind of want to get like a good gauge of like everybody who's on and where your institution is and things like that. So if you don't mind, please put your title, your institution, and your state and tribe in the chat. And then so I just have a quick little agenda here, and I'm just going to run through it super quick because all of this is online so that you can read it for yourself. And I want to make sure that we have enough time for Ben to do his presentation, and then also that we'll have time for question and answers for him. And then if you guys do have any questions on this other information, you're welcome to reach out to me. So that again, go ahead and post your title, institution, state, and tribe. So the overview of the group history and initial goals. So I did some modifications of the Google Doc just so it's a little more simplified. So if you click on the TCU Career Consortium, there's going to be tabs now. And so this is kind of like the different meetings that we've had throughout the last couple of years. And then the current ones are going to be right here. So we have our upcoming ones for the 25-26 year. And then our potential speakers, we did get Dustin confirmed, and then we're still waiting to hear back on Dr. Alexandria. And then I was able to attend the Tribal Leaders Summit last week in Bismarck, North Dakota, and I found a couple of people that I have invited to potentially do a talk to this group, um, kind of around the area of like data collection and data strategy. Because I know that historically that's something that we've all struggled with is how to better track our employment outcomes for our TCU graduates. Um, so the next thing is, so there were some questions that came in about the TCU Career Consortium meetings. You're all welcome to attend. We did have 8 different tribal colleges submit kind of like a charter membership, and the original intent was to create kind of like a good kit for people to do employer employer relationship building, and then we also wanted to kind of start a web page. And so some of that might go away. I've been working with the American Indian College Fund, and they are considering with their leadership there to potentially take over this group, just because they have a lot more resources and a lot more staff, and it's kind of like all related. Career outcomes is also related to like the student success component of working with students at tribal colleges. So participation is completely free at this time. So if you do want to submit the charter membership, you're more than welcome to, but we're not making that a requirement to participate in the meetings. So item number 4 is, so we're all kind of aware of the different kind of challenges that tribal college students face. I would say, a big one of those is that we have a large stop out rate. And then we also have, I would say, like a number of students who are also managing the demands of family life, and a lot of them are also working like full-time jobs and things like that. So our students have an extremely difficult time being able to focus on just their studies. And then another issue that I've seen just in my work at my own institution is that a lot of our students are coming in to the college just for the sake of getting a degree of any kind, and they're not always making that connection between career training or college to employment. And I think that's something that we really need to start addressing, because I think that it will also have a benefit in terms of them having a vision to completion and things like that. So we do a little bit of outreach to like the high schools where we're from, and I believe that most of the TCUs that were on before do some kind of outreach to high schools. So Just kind of making the case that we need to start talking about careers early on when students come into our campuses. And then also, something that I've been working on over the last couple of years is an apprenticeship readiness program. And I think we have to start seeing like apprenticeship opportunities as like another way for our community members to access like overall financial wellness, because not everybody wants to do like a full college program. So like I would really like to see the narrative change about like, tribal colleges and apprenticeships like being in competition versus like overall wellness as the full picture. Um, so number four, welcome strategy and material sharing. So the all of the TCU Career Consortium stuff is kind of made up of people who have done presentations in the past. And so like their presentation slides are linked in the different sections. So if you want to take the time, I'm gonna do my best to get them labeled so you kind of have a better idea of what you're opening. And I'll just show you quick what I'm talking about here. So for example, today is going to be Ben's presentation. So if Ben wants to share his slides, then I can post them in here. But so it'll have the agenda, and then here's Ben's bio. And so within the side here, there will be, this is from 23-24, this is 24-25. So the last 2 years worth of content. So you can go through and look at those if you would like. And then, so again, the American Indian Folk College Fund, they are planning to kind of assume the kind of like, I would say, management of the TCU Career Consortium. And we're kind of just having talks about that right now. So if anyone has any feedback about that, you're more than welcome to reach out to myself, Anna Marie, or Veronica. And then there again, just the resources in the Google tab. I have some additional notes over there, but it's a whole lot. So if you want to read it, go for it. But so with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and read your intro or your
Can
bio,
I
Richmond. Go ahead.
can I interject? I'm actually going to put in here the Menti meter and share my screen. So I do have a couple of questions before Ben gets started.
Okay.
Um, and I'll share my screen now.
Okay.
Oh wait, stop. Hold on. Let me share the Menti meter first. Then share my screen. I put in the chat the Mentimeter information, so if you can add your information in there. So the first question, so that we can kind of go through this. And I know you've already done this. Can you guys see it? The information, the link on there for Mentimeter.
Yep.
So you just open up Mentimeter and then put in the code in there. And then it's basically asking you what organization do you represent. I know you guys put it in the chat, but that's really helpful for us to see. We are trying to collect data. I've been working with Veronica and Iman for the past year and a half on this career consortium agreement. And prior to even coming here, I was part of the career consortium at Autumn Community College. So I'm really grateful to have this opportunity to do this. And what Iman was sharing is that we are working on creating platform for the TCU consortium on our end. And Veronica's taking the lead on that, but we're just here to assist, and we're all working together to make sure that we collect data and we're collecting information. So this is just the start of it. And then also working together to provide presenters. And if any of you are interested in, or you feel like you have someone who would be valuable to this group, I think we make any suggestions, we welcome them.
It's looking like it's waiting for the presenter to change slides.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
maybe if you click the next question.
so the next question, did it change?
Let me do a refresh.
What should a mainstream institution should provide for Native student?
Yes.
That's the question.
And these all lead to into Ben's presentation. Um, Bennett and Myra will be presenting to us. It is my pleasure to have them here with us. I know Ben at Myra for a couple of years. I worked with them actually on this particular project for a number of years. And it's exciting to see that they have been expanding their work and continuing the efforts of this program. So that was something that I just wanted to make sure that we collect some of this data moving forward. Okay, so the next question.
I'm still getting the waiting for presenter to change. I entered my first answer 2 times.
Holy,
Same here.
that's weird. Because I'm seeing everybody else's response. Well, I will. I'll just stop sharing. But if you can continue to do that, and then we'll just turn it over because I don't want to mess with technology.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so Ben serves as the manager of undergraduate education initiatives in the University of Arizona's Division of Undergraduate Education in the Office of the Provost. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Public Health and MPH from the University of Arizona and is currently pursuing a PhD in higher education. Ben's research interest is in understanding the social and cultural barriers students face in pursuing higher education and developing higher education pathways for students. With this research focus, Ben has developed that target students throughout their academic journey and use culturally anchored curriculum to increase students' knowledge and skills, improve student self-efficacy in pursuing higher education, increase sense of belonging on university campus, and help students navigate the campus systems. Okay, thanks, Ben. You can share your screen now.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ben Richmond. I just want to give a couple shout outs. First, Anna, thank you for inviting me. Anna is one of the OG people that helped design the program I'm going to talk to you about today. Very influential in making it a success. And then Christina Kaufman, I see you're on. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hamitakiapi, Christina Kaufman, Akiapi, Tucson, Edward T.A., Isan Timakoche Hamatahaye. Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Kaufman. I live in Tucson, Arizona, and work at Thana Otham Community College, but I am from Santee Land, aka the Santee Sioux Nation of Nebraska. In my role at TOCC, I've had the pleasure of working pretty closely with Anna Marie when she was the transition coordinator at TOCC, in turn working closely with Ben and Myra from the U of A and getting to be an unofficial part of ASJ the first year or so I was there, and then officially a part of the team just last summer.
Thank you very much. Yes, Christina is our partner at TOCC and has been very helpful in making this program a success as well. And not pictured here today is Myra Vargas, who's not feeling well, who is the primary project manager for this program on the University of Arizona side. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay. I'm looking for thumbs up. Can you see the presentation? Cool, cool, cool. Move this over here. Okay, so the program we're going to talk to you about today is called A Student's Journey. This is a transfer pathway program using experiential learning design meant to help students interested in transferring from a 2-year tribal college to a 4-year university. And I wanted to give just a little brief information about how this program came to be and how it started and how it was really designed. And so back in the day, 2018, in a previous department I was at the U of A, we had developed a lot of programs for high school students, really with the idea of promoting self-efficacy and really interest in going to college, but also interest in pursuing STEM degrees. And at the same time, Daniel Sestiago, who was a full-time staff at Donna Otham Community College, he was doing his master's internship with us in our department. So our desks were right next to each other. We talked a lot. He'd share a lot about the experience of his students at TOCC, and he learned a little bit about the programs we ran. And at the same time, there was a call for proposals for a challenge grant from the Agnes Nelms Howry program. And we just got excited. It was one of those moments where we just like broke out the dry erase markers, started drawing all over the windows, like really thought we had a great idea of a program that we could develop for TOCC students. And that what we wanted to build the program around was transfer. In 2018, the University of Arizona had less than 500 students self-identify as Native American or American Indian out of our 40,000 plus student population. Of those students, less than 100 were Donna Otham. And this is a serious issue because the University of Arizona resides on the homelands of the Donna Otham and Pasco Yaqui people. And as a land-grant institution, it really is the responsibility of the U of A to serve the community around it, but also the people whose lands it's on. And so this was something that we really wanted to address. And then looking at the data, the previous 10 years, less than 3 students per year were transferring from TOCC to the U of A. And this kind of really stood out to us because TOCC is less than an hour from the U of A. And so that number was a little shocking to us. And so we decided to develop this program. And in the process, at the top of this slide, I just like to share some of the things that we learned in partnership development, because I think historically building true partnerships between universities and tribal colleges and tribal communities has had a tough history. And so these are some of the things that we've learned and try to teach our colleagues at the U of A. And the first part is shared leadership, really making it a true 50-50 partnership at every step, whether it's in the planning phase, whether it's in the implementation phase, and even up to funding, making sure that the funding is split 50-50. When we were planning this program, we would have frequent meetings, especially over food, and we would literally meet in the middle. We'd have half of our meetings at TOCC, half of our meetings at the U of A to make sure no one was really driving more than the other, or there was a good spot, Cafe Santa Rosa, that we would have a lot of planning meetings at and have some good food. And just being open and transparent about goals, needs, and fears. I think I'll talk about the U of A has a tough reputation for being overly concerned about publications, grant funds, presentations, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the nature, but just being transparent about that and what each person is expecting out of this. And if there is a publication, making sure both parties are in agreement and that both are co-authors, that you're presenting this material together at conferences, and then being open and transparent about needs and fears. Just each institution has different needs and has kind of different mission, and just being honest and seeing where you meet in the middle, including the voice of the community. And we'll go over that in a second. And then an atmosphere of trust, I think, is huge. Just making sure at any moment you can say, whoa, that comment stepped over the line, or we don't appreciate the way this is going. Maybe we can bring it another way, and making sure that trusting atmosphere is there. And then what's not on here, but it's just one-offs. And that's what I try to tell my colleagues at the U of A. It's not just doing one project and getting out, but developing a true partnership. And after this project is over, how can you continue that partnership? And so a little bit about how we developed this program. On the left is that wicked problem that the grant was asking us to identify and to solve. And we identified low transfer rates, which leads to low bachelor degree attainment, which leads to unfilled positions on the nation that require bachelor's degrees. And we used an environmental lens to design this program, and that leads to challenges in addressing the environmental and social justice issues of today and tomorrow. And so we were lucky to be a finalist for this challenge grant opportunity, and we received some funds to do a feasibility study. And in that feasibility study, we decided to talk to students, staff at TOCC, and then the managers of the Dana Optim Nation. And when we talked to TOCC students, there were two main themes that kind of came out of that. The first, their college credit not transferring, or they might be transferring, but they're not applying towards their degree when they transfer. And then more education about the financial aspect and how they might be able to pay for school, and just advising on the transfer process. The TOCC staff discussed a sense of belonging, having students be introduced to U of A systems, so like our course management software, our enrollment management software, all those kinds of things. And then the importance of the physical navigation of campus, because going from TOCC to the U of A, the U of A is kind of like a big city, and it can be a little daunting. And so having students navigate, how do you get around, how to use the CAT-TRAN, how to use the Sunlink, where are the different buildings, just to so students know, like, hey, you know how to get around here, you can be successful here. And then we talked to the managers of the Dawn of the Nation, just the various departments that are on the nation. And they were interested in career and professional development for students and providing service learning opportunities, really providing that professional opportunity for students. And so with that, we developed these goals of increasing sense of belonging at a four-year university, using an on-campus experience, increasing the number of students who are successfully transitioning from a two-year tribal college to a four-year university, creating workforce readiness and academic capacity building through partnership between the University of Arizona and TOCC and other TCUs, and then finding ways to sustain and institutionalize the program to create a solid pathway for Native students to transfer to hopefully the U of A, although if they want to go to other schools, even a certain school in Phoenix, we won't talk about that. That's okay too. And we, over the years, have developed this framework that will be debuting shortly in the next few months. And this is our Students Journey framework. And these are the things that we feel make up our framework: reciprocal relationships, not just with our tribal college partners, but everyone that makes the program possible, the community members that come to speak at the program, the faculty and staff that mentor the students, or the different clubs, resources on campus that share their knowledge with students, and making sure we're providing mutual beneficial relationships there and keeping that strong and solid. Being culturally responsive and grounded, and we'll go over that in a second about how we do that, to ultimately develop a sense of belonging and really create a more welcoming environment on campus to promote self-efficacy and overall confidence in transferring and being successful at a four-year university. One of the big things that we try to do is incorporate cultural components as much as we can. We're guided by the Optum Himdag, which is Optum Way of Life, and TOCC Shoshan, which is core values. In everything we do, and I'll kind of try to go over that through each section in a minute, but we do that through our social nights, inviting family and community members to participate in social nights, talking circles, inviting community members to share their story, and providing various Native community resources and the field trips that we take into our tribal communities. And so this is finally all that background. This is what the program looks like. This is what a student's journey looks like. Students will apply in the fall, in the winter, and then be accepted by, let's say, February. And then from March to May, they do monthly online workshops, and then they're on campus in the summer for 5 weeks. And during that time, they live on campus, they complete an internship, and they earn 3 units of college credit. And over the course of the program, receive transfer support in many different ways, whether it's listening to our different support resources, or even after the program when they're ready to transfer and seeking advising in that process. So in the spring, these are an hour-and-a-half long virtual workshops, usually on a Friday. There's a bit of, during these workshops, we have a program orientation, we start introducing the environmental health lens. And I just wanted to clarify that you could be in any discipline, but no matter what discipline you are in, that environmental component will play a role at some point. And so that's important um, in all that. Cultural sharing, student success. So just stuff to get ready for the summer experience and then eventual transfer. And during this time, they also start getting introduced to their internship, preparing for that. And because they become U of A students for the summer, completing the necessary steps for that, like our non-degree seeking application and various documents they have to do. And we walk them through that process. And then it's the on-campus component. And then the first week is move in. So they'll usually move in on Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have orientation week. It's from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 3, something like that, depending on the day. Um, and we go around to different resources on campus. We visit clubs, we visit resources, we visit different buildings. Um, we have a mentor breakfast. So on Friday morning, we'll have a nice big breakfast, and that's the first time they actually get to meet their mentor face to face, and then they go on to their internship site from there. And then in weeks 2 through 5, they complete an internship, usually about 20 to 25 hours per week on social nights, one social night a week. And we do everything. Our goal here is to have a good time and kind of introduce Tucson. In the past, we've done things like going to the movies. We had last year we did some roller skating. Trying to think what else we have done. Mini golf, bowling, all that kind of stuff. And we make it a point that during these social nights, everyone's invited. So a lot of our students have families, making sure that their kids are coming, they're having a good time too. And then during talking circles, we invite a community member to come and share their story, whether it's their story about their higher education journey or just their life story and the lessons that they've learned. And then we have a seminar once a week. It's a course, Cole 205. It's a environmental justice, social justice course, and they learn to apply that lens to whatever it is that they're interested in. This is just an example of the areas that we have internships, and we try to tell students it does not matter what you're interested in. We will find an internship on campus based on your interests. But in the past, we've had students interested in education, law, a lot of fine arts students, vet science, any STEM discipline, pretty much, a lot of nursing students, business and marketing students. This year, we had a ton of students interested in social work, I feel like. And so this list is not comprehensive. It's just what we've had in the past. And we don't want students to feel like, oh, I'm not interested in any of these things, so I can't participate. You absolutely can. And we'll find an internship that makes sense for you. This is just a different view of what the program looks like during the summer. On Mondays, students are hopefully at their internship site. Tuesdays are at their internship site, and then we'll do a social activity, maybe some bowling. On Wednesday is another internship day. Thursday, internship day and talking circle. In the evening, Friday is seminar day, so there's no internship on Friday. It's just an all-day seminar. And then on Saturdays, most Saturdays, we do provide a field trip. And so this ranges depending on what's going on. This year we did Flowers and Bullets, which is a kind of a community farm organization. We did the Saguaro fruit harvest. We've gone to Mount Lemon. And so we always try to provide different field trip opportunities for students. So these are some of the benefits. So students, again, they earn that internship experience based on their area of interest. They earn 3 units of college credit. This college credit is covered by the program. They do not pay for their credit over the summer. Weekly social events, again, covered by the program. There's no cost to participating in this program. They do get access to the rec center, the library. They're able to check out technology from the library. We offer financial aid presentations and all that. And then they actually earn a stipend. So not only is there no cost, they actually earn stipends both for completing their internship but also we provide each student with a $500 meal stipend so that if they need help paying for groceries or whatever, they have that. And then additional stipends based on the student situation. We've provided funds if they're coming from far away and they need gas money. They have children finding childcare. If they have maybe children over the age of 8 plus finding summer camps on campus that they can participate in while their parents are here. And then food. And we also try to provide food at every talking circle, social night, and a field trip as well. Students live in the dorms on campus. And for our students who have families that would still like to come, we provide off-campus housing. So we usually go through Airbnb and find an Airbnb that would fit their situation so that their family could come with them. And then we have individual advising and mentorship from ASJ staff, from TOCC, from the U of A, and peer mentors. We have student workers who are ASJ alumni who work for the program and help run it as well and can share their experience. And then we try to offer as many opportunities that we can after the program. Whether that's employment opportunities, we try to provide opportunities for students to speak at national conferences and get that experience, or they come back and speak to the program about their journey. And this is some of the numbers that we have so far since 2021. This was the first year that we did it in person. Our first year ever was 2020, but then we had to go virtual, so it wasn't really the same. So we invited the students in 2020 to come back in 2021 and do the on-campus experience. So we usually measure from 2021. We've had 60 students participate in the program that represent 15 different tribes. Of those 60, 23 have already graduated and received their associate's degree from their tribal college. We have a lot more that are still at TOCC. Maybe they did this program in the first year at TOCC or their tribal college, and so they're finishing up and then they'll transfer. We've been able to take 18 of our students to national conferences to speak. And we're really proud of our 70 partners, campus and community partners that have volunteered to share their knowledge, share their resources through our various events. And this is a cool number, 82%. So of the students who are ready to transfer, it's 23, basically the ones that have finished their associates, 82 have successfully already transferred to a four-year university. So we're very happy about that number. And here's some pictures of our amazing students. And then these are some of the core components that I just like to highlight that we feel contribute to the community building and creating a sense of belonging and promoting self-efficacy on campus and kind of creating a welcoming environment. We feel that the social nights and talking circles are huge for kind of developing that community within their cohort, making sure that we're inviting community leaders to come share their stories, and it's not just U of A folks that are talking, providing giving student clubs and various resources a chance to show their space on campus or talk to the students about the services they provide. And then the internship itself, not only is it a good professional experience, but all of a sudden you have a mentor on campus once you're here and you have someone you can go to talk to. In terms of building self-efficacy, we like to highlight this is a program specific to non-traditional transfer students. Most programs, I feel like the U of A, all universities are really designed not for the transfer student. So providing a program specific for transfer students is important. The idea of living on campus and being on campus, providing that opportunity to be able to physically navigate the campus, being in the course. So you're already familiar with the various virtual systems that the U of A has, our follow-up with alumni, and continue to provide support and checking in with our alumni after the program. And really all this comes down to opportunities to be successful on campus. Because of the internship, they have this great professional experience and they know, oh, I can be successful at the U of A. I've already done an internship. I've been successful. By taking a class at the U of A, I've already taken a class. Hopefully I've earned an A. I've already been successful on campus. And so that's kind of a built-in way to build self-efficacy. So kind of the reason that we're here today is we're trying to expand the program. And so applications will be opening October 3rd. The application, it's really just creating an account, uploading a resume, and unofficial transcripts is all we need. And then we have 2 prompt questions in addition to some like name and demographic information. Those will open October 3rd and probably stay open until the end of December. And it kind of just leads us into why we're here and what we are hoping to achieve. Our last year we had a record cohort and we had 18 students complete the program. We want to take on at least 25, and we want to expand this opportunity to any tribal college student that is interested in participating. So we want to open it up to all of you. We also want to expand our partnerships with other tribal colleges. So if you're on this call and you think this is interesting and you'd like us to come out to your campus and maybe talk in your classrooms or see if there's other ways we can partner, that's something that we really want to do. Or what we've noticed is at some point we can't keep taking on more students. We only have so many internship sites on campus. So we're going to be limited eventually in how many students we can serve. But if you're interested in developing a similar program with a university near you, we're also very interested in helping you and providing any guidance that we can or lessons learned. So with that said, this is our contact information. Christina, I don't know if you want to put your contact information in the chat. If you have any questions, and I think that's all we have for you today. Are there any questions, comments?
I have a question. Just wanted to know how scholars are able to, I guess, reflect on their time during the internship, and if they have any focus on particular soft skills during that internship time.
By soft skills, what do you mean by that? Just
Soft skills meaning, any type of professional development that doesn't
yeah,
have like,
okay.
certifications attached to it, communication, like, being a good team player, social emotional work, that type of thing.
It's a great question. Thank you. So actually throughout the whole program, each week they have assignments as part of the course, and those
Mm,
assignments are reflection based. There's also a pre and post
nice.
opportunity. At the end of the program, I didn't really talk about it. There's a showcase. And so
Oh,
each student creates a poster about their experience, and we have a poster session. And so we invite the campus and our community partners and the families, and they're able to share their experience in that way. And then some of the soft skills that we try to incorporate, we work a lot on public speaking. And each seminar, they get introduced to some uncomfortable ways of public speaking, throwing them up in front of random slides and telling them, you're the teacher, you gotta teach us these slides kind of thing, or presenting on their work with their students. But we try to make the whole thing um, try to work that in as much as possible. The interview component, we try to treat it as like a real career interview. And so they have that experience of going through an interview. They have the resume that they have to develop. And then during the workshops and during the orientation week, we do a resume workshop so that we can work on that. And then we also incorporate personal finance as well into
cool.
the program.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm missing anything, Anna and Christina. Feel free to jump in.
I was just gonna share, I think a lot of it, especially is like what you hit on was the public speaking. One of the big things we notice is students are very uncomfortable doing that. So making sure every time we're meeting them, they had an opportunity just to share like a minute, and then it increased throughout the time frame until they were extremely comfortable at the end. And just getting ready for that showcase. I want to say leading up to that showcase, they probably meet every day just to get that practice in so they're comfortable presenting in front of their peers. I think those are huge things. One of the things I do want to share is when we were working on this with TOCC, is creating those partnerships. I think who are the coordinators who work with Joy Ben at Myra now, work effortlessly to try to find a perfect place for those students who are looking for an internship based on their interests. And a lot of times people assume that because it's, um, most of the time you get places where you're like, oh, you're in a STEM field, that's the way you're going to work. But this is open to all different fields. So they spend a lot of time creating those partnerships. And they have done that for a couple of years and finding a perfect place. And I always want to give out this great example of when Alex and I were there. We had one student who was interested in fashion, and we had no idea where to put her. We're trying to find a place. Alex did a lot of research, and we did find a place for her. We found out that U of A had a fashion program, which we both did not know about. And so it was a great fit for her. And then she was also able to work at the library where they had a makerspace that she was able to create, and there was a photo with her in there. So those are just some options, and thinking about like the internship experience. It has been amazing to see the number of students who have completed this program and continued their education, graduated from a university or continue into like a professional graduate degree program. I still have a lot of connections to a lot of these students, and I think they're all doing remarkable work. Also wanted to put in I'm going to put in the survey for this presentation in our chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Other questions? I know that I see some going up in the chat. The first one here was highlight the way you have engaged students who have children. I think what we try to do in terms of that is we just know there's a number of students who have a family or have children that want to participate in the program. And for us, the issue becomes communication and like making sure that they know that this is a program for them too. So when we go to the tribal colleges and the classrooms, we try to emphasize that it's okay if you have children. We'll find housing. We can bring you here to Tucson. We invite children and families to every social event, talking circle, and field trip, so they can also get that experience as well. And actually, sometimes children attend the seminars as well if needed. Um, and and yeah, that's the main way we provide different opportunities depending on the age of the child to either childcare if they're really young or camps on campus. The U of A has tons of camps going on, so if they're interested in sports, there's basketball camps. The rec center has camps, depending on whatever they're interested in. So that's how we do that. How do you attract students to career services activities such as career fairs? That's a good question. I think that's something that we want to get into more. I We haven't announced it, Christina or Anna, but I drafted like a LinkedIn page, so I'm hoping to put opportunities in that. And then Instagram is one way that we communicate with our students a lot to share different happenings that are happening around campus at TOCC or the U of A. So I'm not sure if that answers that question. I don't know if Anna or Christina want to add to that. Uh,
I'll just add a quick context for that question too.
okay.
So in previous years, like a lot of the TCUs, they go through a lot of effort to like organize the events, bring in a bunch of vendors, and then a lot of times we have like limited student participation in things like career fairs or like resume workshops. So like we're really like looking for insight really on how you guys engage kind of like on your own campuses, how to get students to attend these events. And I would say one of the things that we do at our TCU is we started, so with I'm the NACTEP project director, and so we have one component that's like a job placement career person. And so we implemented kind of like a door prize thing so they can get like a duffel bag or a sweatshirt. So the more that they attend these events, like kind of like the more that their names will go into the hat. But what we found is that our grants really can't pay for door prizes or food. And so We were fortunately able to get a sponsorship for specifically our job services events. We have the state job service program that comes to the campus. They're going to be here 7 times this year. And so the 477 program was able to give us some funds to buy door prizes as an incentive for students to attend that. And then also they were able to give us a small budget to make meals for that event because we know that like meals is also kind of a thing that attracts traffic and things like that. So,
Christina, I know you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
I did, and I was going to share that having like incentives has been the biggest pull for students to come to our events, you know, if they have the possibility to win a prize, they're more likely to come. And just recently, we started working with Handshake. We haven't rolled it out yet, but as I'm working through the Handshake Academy and learning about all of the different tools that it has, it's really getting me motivated and excited to be able to share that with students, especially because big chunk of our students are online learners and distance learners. And so with Handshake, we'll be able to host more virtual events that are more interactive. And so I would definitely recommend looking into some sort of platform or program that is mobile friendly, emphasis on the mobile friendly, where students can, you know, check out career readiness resources as well as job opportunities.
Thanks, Christina. I had to, yeah, the incentive part, easier said than done sometimes. I know when we go out to campus, we try to provide food, usually Domino's or Panda Express, something that students may not get regularly. Panda seems to win a lot of students over, Panda Express. So if you're able to provide food in that way, I think that's a huge incentive. We've worked with various departments on the nation as well who might have resources for swag and stuff. I know the EPO, the Environmental Protection Office, always has the best swag for some reason. Like they got the hydro flasks and the AirPods, and I don't know. So sometimes if you partner with other departments, they may have access to incentives as well. Um,
can you just talk for a few minutes about how you went about establishing a relationship between the university and the tribal colleges? Because it sounds like you guys maybe had an existing relationship prior to kind
yeah,
of things launching. But if you could talk a little bit about that, even employer partnerships as well.
for sure. I think we were fortunate because uh, Danny Sestiaga, who was I forgot his title, Anna, but he worked at TOCC. He was also doing his master's internship in our office, so we kind of had a natural opportunity to build a partnership in that way. But I think what we learned is it's really just all about being present. Again, that shared leadership and being transparent about goals. And then what I try to teach our faculty, just because it happens too often, is it's not, there's no one-offs. It's just we're going to keep this partnership going even after the project might end. I think is huge. And so for us, it's about going out there. It's not just meeting on Zoom or whatever. If we have the opportunity to go out to campus and meet face to face, we're going to make that effort to do it. And making sure we're not just saying, oh, why don't you guys come to the U of A campus? But no, we're going to go out there because we take this partnership very seriously. Um, and then it's just maintaining that over the years. And I don't know if Anna or Christina want to add to that.
I would like to add, one of the things I think did really well because I came in December of 2018, and then we had just started the program. One of the things that I noticed when I came in was that there was a lot of legwork already done with Alex and Danny on recruitment, and they already had a cohort. What I did notice is that Alex was at our campus at least once a month, and everybody knew who he was. And that was something that was really helpful, is that they know who they're dealing with and creating those connections with students. I think it's really key from doing that. And then over the years of running the program, that was something that we definitely did, is making sure that people knew that we were here to provide the service and talking to people, trying to encourage students. And I think people were reluctant. And if you talk to any of these students, in fact, we just did a recording for one of our students, and a lot of them were saying, Anna Marie kept bugging me. Anna Marie kept bugging me. And it was just having conversations with them and telling them, like, hey, you should apply. You know, it would be beneficial for you. And I do see that there has been benefits to this. One of the things I did want to also bring up, Ben, was that this year, normally they've been working with Don Otham Community College and San Carlos Apache, but this year they had a student from one of the other tribal colleges, and I can't remember what tribal college she came from.
Turtle
um,
Mountain.
Turtle Mountain, and she came out and had a really great experience. She is American Indian College Fund scholar. She also belongs to another program that I had been able to be a part of. And she was sharing with me that she enjoyed the program immensely, and her mom was really thankful for the opportunity that her daughter had for coming to Arizona, and she was considering applying to University of Arizona. She said never considered it before in her life, and she said it was a really good experience for her.
Thank you. And I just want to add, I don't know if we've had the opportunity necessarily to work with the next stage of working with employers from at least the university end, but one thing that we do is work with our faculty and staff who host interns. And for that one, we're very purposeful in who we work with. We meet with each uh, staff or faculty mentor beforehand, and making sure that they understand what's going to be asked of them during the program. And making sure that they're a really good fit for the student. So we've had a number of faculty and staff who are returning, and that's been very helpful because every year they're like, that was a great experience. And so we have a large number of staff that come back every year. So that's made it a bit easier as well. And then this is, yeah, most recently we've expanded it to be open to students from any tribal college. And again, as I mentioned, we're interested in working with your tribal college, not just recruiting students, but we love to go out there and see if there's ways that we can partner either on this program, helping set up a different program. And our office does other things, and we're working with Christina and her team on it now in terms of transfer articulation and figuring out the transfer credit articulation component. So if you think there's a way that we could partner, we're very interested in that. I would love the U of A to see this as a recruitment method so that they could support it more. So that's something we're working on. And any other questions?
I don't
I just want to say, oh,
yeah.
what was that?
I don't see any more questions, but she was just adding a comment in there. So
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting us to speak today. I'll put my email again in the chat if you're interested in reaching out. And yeah, just thank you so much.
thanks to everyone. The survey thing is in the chat there. If you could rate today, and thank you for coming. Have a
Thank
good rest of
you.
your week, everyone.
Yay.